Up next, I would like to invite Mr. V. Sambamurthy. Please, sir. George, if we can extend a welcome token to Mr. V. Sambamurthy. Mr. Sambamurthy is an ex-director and CEO of the Institute of Development, Research and Banking Technology, Hyderabad. Over the last decade, he served as the independent director on boards of financial infrastructure companies like NPCI, Clearing Corporation of India, NSDL, Insurance Information Bureau. So, right, so when I abstract it out and I say money flows, Sir is who gives the blessings for the money to flow between all of these systems. Yes, I think that's an important disclosure. Mr. Sambamurthy also is a chartered accountant by formal qualification with over 3 decades of experience in banking. And during his career span, he was responsible for treasury, international banking, human resources, risk management, IT, and served as the chief manager of bank's London operations. I can compress it. All right. It's a very long page, but I can tell you this much with Insurance Information Bureau of India, Clearing Corporation, IDBI, Data Security Council of India, Society for Electronic Transactions and Settlements. Think about private, government, pseudo-government, and non-governmental institutions who enable us to do businesses, retail banking, and everything else. At the infrastructure side, there is nobody better who has an idea about all of these, how these things work, for Sir here, right? With that, sir, I would request you to kind of please. Thank you, sir.
Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, my thanks to, can you hear me? Okay. Thanks to Ahmedabad Management Association for having me, particularly to Professor Jaju. In fact, me and Professor Jaju, if I have to disclose the, I would say whatever related party transaction, we work together. We worked together for 10 years at IDRBT. So Professor Jaju also, I think, has a good view of this entire the payment journey in this country, and right from NFT days and creating the first of its kind in the world, Indian financial network, nowhere you will find, which is called Infinite and all. This is all great contribution by Professor Jaju, that's how we are in touch. I know that CBDC, before I think you will have your Q&A at the end, right? Yeah. But I will have my Q&A at the beginning. Is that okay? Yes, sir. Right. Why UPI is success? I want two answers. Why UPI is a success? Technology. 1 minute. Technology, okay? Ease of use. Mobile. No failure. Fully secured. Interoperability. Very fast. Okay, thank you. I got it. Why IMPS, its predecessor, was not so successful? Transaction charge, yes. Registered, yes. If you get right answers for these two, tomorrow, I think by evening you can go and do a startup, I can assure you. Don't have to wait till tomorrow. I think 5 o'clock, Professor Jaju is leaving you, 6 o'clock you can do your startup, if you get right answers.
So for API, it's an open architecture for the platform to develop. IMPS was the infrastructure development for all the banks and the whole lot of people. So probably that could be
Yes. Lack of advantage. To whom? IMPS.
To do IMPS, we should have net banking user ID and password. For that, we need to contact the bank. But for opening a UPI account, just OTP is required and just the ATM which is linked with that UPI account.
Fine. Yes. So the difference between the two, I think, let me connect the dots, some of the answers you have given. If UPI is successful, it's just because of 4 or 5 things. Number one, convenience. IMPS is a pain point, right? Because they only automated what is already happening in the physical world, right? You need IFSC code, you need bank account number and all that, right? It's only automation, it is not digitization as such. Convenience is that. Number two, frictionless, as people said, right? It's very easy if you have a UPI PIN, if you know the mobile number. the entire complex work is taken over by NPCI. Whereas IMPS, the complex work is passed on to the user. UPI, they've taken the entire complex work because you need to have that bank account, right? As somebody said, it's quite secure. Number 4, it's quite resilient. In the last 5 years, how many times that UPI is down? No.
2-3 times hardly, sir.
In 5 years. That too for a few minutes. Okay, people make noise because I know Vishal spends restless nights, right? So I think it gives deeper insights. If you know the reasons for success, you know the reasons for failure. You need to know both of them, not just one. Second, of course, is no cost. That's because of the regulatory environment and all. That cannot be this thing. So if you offer any product which is convenient, which is frictionless, which is reliable, which is trustworthy, another one. If not NPCI, if some XYZ company, are we going to use that app, we'll think twice. It takes time. So these 4 or 5 things, if you want to start a fintech, if you meet these 5 parameters, I can tell you that know the difference between failure and success. I think you will be there, right? So the second question is, again, I look for 3-4 answers. What is fintech? In fact, Professor Georgiou, every time I meet, he asks me, what is this fintech, Murthy, that I think we have been discussing for 10 years. We are not able to get an answer.
Financial transaction को technology से enable करना.
Right, okay. Yes?
Any technology platform which enables deposit, withdrawal, payments or investment, that's basically fintech platform.
Because it has also some insights for fintech success. That's why I'm asking you. What is fintech?
Financial transaction make it easy.
So as somebody said, I think I'm looking for some backbencher. I was also backbencher in my time, right? Don't worry about it. Any answers from the suited, booted people? Please don't read any politics into it, right? Okay, just ask you. Yes, any of you? You can guess. Yes, please. Yes, somebody said yes, please.
Fintech is a technology which helps to give the finance at any time.
Okay. So I have my own definition. You can call it Sambamurthy definition, right? Fintech is basically deploy technology to solve problems in finance for use by citizens. That's why. But in reality, it does not happen. But what happens in funding startups, they deploy finance to run technology. Do you know that company? We have in India, abroad, who deploy finance to run technology.
Investors.
I didn't say, you said that. Your name will go to Vijay Shekhar Sharma, not me. You need to know the distinction. All along, there are a good number of them. This may be one, but I don't know, right? You have said that, I don't own it. See, because you see, what happens is that if you see that 2020, you had something like $24 trillion invested at what rate, do you know? Globally? $24 trillion invested at what rate, do you know? Either at 0 or near 0 or negative. So all this money is searching for some big gains to make good the loss. So now how much is that? How much is left out of $24 trillion? How much is left? It's still there. Can you show me where it is? I'll give you an Indian example. Last year we had something like 8 lakh crores floating in the system. Today how much is there? People are borrowing from Reserve Bank of India. So you need to understand, I'm not telling that is a model, they say more money, more valuation, profitability and all is a different ball game. It works when you have huge amount of surplus looking for returns. Above even 1% return was a great return. So that model would have worked for some time. I'm not saying that model, some people are lucky that they would get it, otherwise they don't get it. So if you know the answers, I think for 3 questions, tomorrow you can do a startup, am I right? Today I'm seeing that one fellow said, one of the Indian edutech, I heard a figure of $20 billion valuation. I read another paper, it said $40 billion. Yesterday I read one of the investors valued it $5 billion. So it all depends on also how investors view it, not how you view it. Why I'm telling you, because I have come across a good number of people, youngsters like you. Sir, I have a blockchain. So where can I get money? So you want to deploy finance to run your technology, to run your dream. So at the end of the day, you need to be clear what problem I'm going to solve. Whose problem I'm going to solve. Is he or she is willing to pay for the solution? If not now, after some time. Okay? So I think my class is over. I think I can go. No. Right. Right. So let me tell you this. The digital rupee, CBDC is a green field. Right? So it is, probably all of us can interpret in our own way. What is the CBDC? I'm trying to demystify some of the concepts. Because this is a big topic, not for half an hour, it takes time. We have done 4 hours, 5 hours kind of webinars on this, still not finding a solution. But Reserve Bank has come out with some clarity, at least on some issues. So I would like to share that what is it there as a fintech for you? It's for you to probably decipher, find out what lies around the corners, right? So I'll talk to you about what exactly is the CBDC, and then why Reserve Bank, central banks of these all over the world are going for CBDC. What is the design, functional design? What is the technical design? So I'm not getting into kind of risk and all that we would see. Let us see more focus on the opportunity and all. How many of you have heard of Bank for International Settlement, BIS? Have any of you heard? Right. Okay. You know that over 100 countries are now toying with the idea of CBDC. Not just one country, 2 countries. So when so many 100 countries are doing, it's no longer a vision, it's a mission. At least so far as India is concerned, it is a mission. You are going to see retail CBDC maybe in the next few days. Wholesale is already, pilot is launched. And so far as retail is concerned, you are going to see it in the next few days. Much ahead of what Finance Minister has promised in the budget. I think you can say that one of the outstanding successes, rarely what is announced in the budget is always carried forward most of the time. Here is well ahead of it, thanks to people like Vishal, who is here, is going to share some NPCI stories. So the CBDC is not a moonshot. It's not a moonshot. It is just only a few days away. So that's why I think it offers a lot of opportunities for guys who want to do a startup or who want to probably join one of these startups and all, right? It is not a vision, it is a mission. You know, vision which lies somewhere in the CEO's room, but it's a mission which probably is already there with the groups like Mr. Vishal and all. So what is this CBDC? Why all these central banks all over the world are rushing to it? There are several motivations for it. Surprisingly, some of these motivations are exactly opposite. They are not universal. So I'll give you an example. Sweden is one of the front runners for CBDC. Their cash to GDP ratio is less than 1%. Less cash society. What? Less cash society, they want to digitize their currency. Why? Then why do they want to digitize currency? Currency hai nahi hai, you are telling. If it is not there, what is that they want to digitize? So idea is that what happened is they have achieved such kind of progress in the cashless society. Now they lost sight of the payment system. Because their currency is not used, all of the payments are electronic and digital, and they've lost sight what is happening in the payment system. Payment system is an important component of the financial and monetary system of any country, if they want to timely intervene. Number 2, banking is highly interconnected, and payment is one of the major conduits for this interconnectedness. If one bank fails, Swedish central bank doesn't know where to intervene, how to intervene. What is the problem that is emerging because it's completely cut off, right? So the motivation for Switzerland is not to make it a cashless society, but to bring in a cash society. Reverse. Come to countries like India, Japan, Germany, where cash usage is very high. We are about something like 13% of GDP, 30 lakh crores of currency. We think that there is too much of currency, we need to digitize. So our motivation is to reduce the cash. Different. Exactly opposite. Opposite. So that is why this is all country-specific solutions. So we can't say that US is doing, UK is doing, Sweden is doing, why not India does, right? So you guys, if you want to find out, if you want to get into it, you find Indian problems and Indian solutions. UPI is a success because it is an Indian solution, right? Right. Third thing is that the third is a different thing is there are some countries, island countries, they are finding it difficult to move cash physically. Bahamas is a classic case. Indonesia. Even India, you have got 6.5 lakh villages, right? You need to move cash around 6.5 lakh. So that is another reason for some of these countries, right? Then, of course, the monetary policy stability that these people are talking of. And then financial inclusion. We already achieved, a great amount of progress so far as financial inclusion is concerned. We have something like 600 million Jan Dhan accounts, right? Today, at the click of a button, government is able to transfer DBT, digital. But the other leg is cash. These villages are going to these micro ATMs and drawing cash. There are about 1 billion transactions there. So you have one leg which is digitized welfare system. There is other leg which is still cash. So you can imagine the cost and process involved in moving this cash at 6 lakh villages, right? So these 4 or 5 reasons, why I'm telling you this, because don't look for answers in some other countries. We need to look for problems in our country and look for solutions in our country. What is India's case? India's case is, one is too much of cash, forget about this black money and all that. That is a different kind of solution that we need. Cost of currency. You know what is the cost of currency? I said my Q&A will be from my side. Only at the end you can ask your questions. Any guess? Anybody has read an RBI report? What is the cost of printing cash per year? 5,000 crores. No, I have not come to a complete conclusion. This small change, 5,000 crores. I'll tell you the other part of it. We have 30 lakh crores cash in the system. It is moved at least 4 to 5 times. Am I right? 4 to 5 times in a year is a reasonable guess. So 150 lakh crores cash. 150 lakh crores cash moving around 6.5 lakh villages and towns. What is the cost? So as per research by the Duke University, it is 1.25% of GDP. Our GDP is 200 lakh crores plus. So Sweden's use case is different, but our use case is, so there's going to be enormous savings. But problem is, most of the costs are externalized. RBI takes into account only the printing cost. It doesn't take into account the cost of moving, that is all the banks. And banks, what they do, they'll pass it on to customers. So ultimately, we all end up in a very high cost economy, right? So even if we discount half of it, even if we think that it is only 0.5% of our GDP, it comes to 80,000 crores. So the enormous opportunity that lies ahead, why Reserve Bank is keen to do it, even though even their consent paper talks of only cost of printing 5,000, which is in their balance sheet. But what is in the balance sheet of merchants, what is in the balance sheet of banks, what is in the balance sheet of citizens is not there. Is that good enough reason for introducing CBDC? Why I'm saying this, in most of these seminars I've had, one question they always ask me, when UPI is so successful, why do we need CBDC? So it can save, the economy can save so much. Number two, there can be redistribution of costs. So you have a lot of other cases, even as I've told you, financial inclusion, even if you have done, one side is digital, the other side is cash, there can be deeper engagement. So the other day, I was talking to one of the flower vendors. Our ticket size is 20 rupees. Normally, for puja and all that, they don't spend more than 20, 30 rupees. So she has got 2, 3 QR codes. I asked her, why are you taking these QR codes? Do they give you any incentive? All these guys, PSPs, were giving incentive per transaction, 15 rupees, 20 rupees. Right? Slowly they reduce. Now they don't give it all. So then I asked, then why are you using this UPI QR code? Says that whenever I want loan, the bank gives me in half an hour without applying. Why the bank is giving loan? Because they captured all the business turnover of that vendor. Same case. I was asking our milkman, why you are taking QR code? Why you want this? No, on UPI. He doesn't even come for that. He gives his number. Then he said there are 450 houses in our community. He says he spends 4 days to collect money every month. He has to go around 450 houses, right? And many of them, half of them say, he is not there, change is not there, you come again, 4 to 5 days wasted. Today, he gets it on first itself. In fact, I given him an idea. You ask these fellows to pay weekly. Have a smart contract. Because he gets about at least 2 lakhs per week. So earn these 2 lakhs per week, you have a better bargain with your supplier, or you can make use of this in other business. So you need to find out the use cases for these people. That is why UPI is successful in at small merchants, low ticket size, not the bigger ones. So don't think that, okay, I can have turnover if I get some 10, 15 business people, like you can have maybe 10,000 crores, 15,000 crores, but there is no money there. So look at, in Indian context, micropayments. That's where CBDC comes into the picture. When you have one leg digital, but again this problem today while coming, we had asked that fellow, taxi fellow, why you want this QR code? Again, same thing, he said that bank will give me another loan. Then I told him daily you have to put petrol from where you get. I go to ATM and draw cash. And then I have asked him that, every day if you draw cash, bank will give you only 5 transactions free, then the rest of it you have to pay. So how do I solve the problem? He was asking me. CBDC helps you. Both the sides. Today RBI's digital payment index will count as digitally even if one leg is digital, which I don't agree. It needs to be both digital, otherwise you don't serve the purpose, right? What are the use cases? There are 3 broad use cases. My time is up to 3-4 minutes. You just please let me, so I'll stop. All right, okay. Right, fine. What are the use cases? There are 3 broad use cases. One is wholesale. Number 2 is retail. Number 3 is cross-border. You need to understand, because the model for CBDC for each of the 3 cases is different, totally different. It's not same. As I go along, I will explain to you. Wholesale is already launched. Are you aware? CBDC wholesale was already launched earlier this month. Its use case is different. It's not for public, but today, as I said, like Clearing Corporation of India, interbank settlements it does. If one bank buys government securities, if one bank borrows call money, right? If one bank sells any derivatives, it aggregates all and settles it. So the problem there is take a lot of margin calls, because there could be volatility, because same day they are not settled. They take what is called initial margin, so that if that fellow does not fulfill the contract, he will buy and do it. So when the payment is instantaneous, settlement does not happen instantaneous. So wholesale CBDC is about settlement technology. It is not a payment technology. You need to understand. I do not find much of opportunities for a startup to get into this wholesale, because most of these players are sophisticated players, and the transactions are few. And they're all big ticket. Big ticket fellows never pay you any money. Can you make money from Reliance Industries? Business? No. Shareholder. So that's why I don't chase any big tickets, because I've seen some of these fellows, now I got some 10 big businesses, I will do that and all. There is no juice in this, in your language, not my language. Look for a lot of opportunities in the micropayment retail. Second one is the retail. So I've already explained to you why I need retail. Third one is cross-border. This again, huge opportunity. You know, something like India gets $80 to $90 billion inward remittance, $80 to $90 billion. It's just like, worse than IMPS. It's delayed. It takes almost a week or 5 days for somebody to get money. Number two, it's very costly. As per World Bank study, it costs about 6% each remittance. Yes, 6% it. Third thing is, even for banks, it's a pain point because there is what's called an intermediary bank between the sending bank and the receiving bank. That's called correspondent bank. These are all in the developed countries, mostly dollar or your pounds and all, right? So it's very difficult for institutions also to get it. So cross-border, of course, right now, India has not flagged this issue, but there are already a number of projects going globally. There is one project, Dunbar. There is another project, Bridge. It's all going on under BIS, because India alone cannot do it. It has to need collaboration from various countries, maybe an ideal use case for Gift City, cross-border, because they are in the right kind of place. Their only problem is that you need a lot of exchange corridors, dollar rupee, dollar pound, so on and so on. But you can do 80-20 per hour principle. You find out 20% of the cases, you can solve 80% of the problems. So there are three use cases. Now I'll come to the functional design. What is this design of CBDC? There are only broadly two types. One is the account-based. Second is the token-based. So what is account-based? Central bank digital currency, just like currency. It's not equivalent to deposits. Who issues currency? Who issues currency? Reserve Bank, not banks. Reserve Bank only is the sovereign. It has only sovereign right and responsibility. So if Reserve Bank issues the currency, if you want CBDC in an account based, Reserve Bank of India has to open all these accounts, 1 billion people. Not possible, right? So they said account based we will not do. We will do only for the wholesale base, because there are very few institutions. They are only to open the account. So that's why India has decided, so far as retail is concerned, token based. Till about a month back, it was not clear RBI would go for account based or token based. Now RBI has very clearly spelled out it will be token based. It will be very close to our currency. In the sense, it will have same denominations like our currency. You will have 500, 200, 100 and all the tokens. Yes. It will also be like currency, it will have a distinct number. So they're trying to make it as close to physical currency as possible, so that it is easy for people, wins the trust, right? So number 3, it's a bearer instrument. You can have this token on your mobile, on your card, on your watch, if it is a smart watch. It can be any IoT device you can keep. You can keep your currency anywhere, right? You can keep in your purse, you can keep the drawer, you can keep it anywhere. So here also you can keep it on our hardware, or you can keep it as a software design on your mobile phone. So ownership is based on physical. If I have the token, it is with me. Whereas in the case of account, somebody has to verify. Here you don't have to verify. If you are using physical cash, nobody verifies, right? And the third most important thing is required is why these people, even in digital, has got unique number. Every currency note has got a number. Like token also will have a number. Yes, no counterfeit. Second is double spend. You can't spend the same token twice. Double spend is an important problem in cryptocurrencies. FTX and all, I don't want to get into that, right? Here it is a two-way. You can draw from the banks, and you can also convert digital rupee to regular currency and currency to this one as well. So anonymity is one of the big issues, because in the case of physical cash, there is anonymity. If I go there and go to a smaller pay cash and buy anything, there is no complete anonymity, nobody is going to trace. But in the case of token, anybody can trace. Even though RBI is telling that we will try to keep the anonymity as much as possible, but I'm not very sure that how much you can do, because it's not easy to erase the digital footprints. So you need a system to verify and all. So long as you don't worry people to know if you are buying books, it's all fine. If you buy drinks or cigarettes, you would not like others to know, right? Because your insurance premium also will go up. The data will go to insurance company. If he knows that you are smoking, you are drinking, your insurance premium will go. And your habits will be known to the world. So it's not about financial privacy. It's the privacy of the individual itself. So this can be one of the pain points, but Reserve Bank, as I showed, for small payments. Today, supposing if my grandson was going to a college outside, don't guess my age when my grandson is going to college, right? Don't worry. So my daughter said that I'll give you a credit card for all your expenses. He was very happy. He thought he can spend any amount. She has got 1 lakh and all. He went happy. Next month, the fellow came home. He had dozen questions from my daughter. This fellow was surprised. How did she know what I'm doing? How many times I'm eating ice cream? At what time I'm eating ice cream? How many times I'm having cool drinks? Then she said, why? Oh, okay, credit card bill she's paying, she's getting it. Then he said, I don't want credit card, I want only cash, he said. Right? I will come to that in CBDC, how it will solve the problem. Kids will not like CBDC from that perspective. Does it happen? When our parents, my days, they used to send a draft, right? They never knew how I am spending it, right? Whether I am using it for beer or real dosa, idli, they don't know, right? I have full freedom to do that. So, the things that these are all social pain points. These are not tech points. So, what you need to do if you want to have a startup, there's a wonderful book which is called Anthrovision. Gillian Tett, I believe. She's a columnist in Financial Times. She writes extensively on business, finance, and economics. She said it's not enough for any business to know only these three subjects. They need to know anthropology, study of human behavior. Today, CBDC, I have talked to you, anything technology piece is there? No. It's about understanding human behavior in communities. The other day I was reading a story, one of the American banks. If you apply for a personal loan on an Apple phone, you get a higher amount and lower interest rate. If you apply for a loan on Android phone, you get less amount and higher interest rate. Now, I'm not joking, because they are worried about these kind of biases in artificial intelligence. That's where ethics in artificial intelligence are coming, right? Similarly, PIN code. In the Western countries, your identity is decided by the PIN code, neighborhood, right? So, if anybody with that PIN code is applying for a loan, he has a different kind of risk profile, perception, which may not be correct, right? Yes. So, these design choices, already, some of them are already fixed. As I've told you, it will be token based, right? It will be, yes, it will be digital token. Yes. See, today UPI you can do only on mobile, right? Whereas your CBDC can be on your card, could be on your smartwatch, could be any of these IoT devices that you have that. That's one kind of an advantage and all. Then come to the technical choices that Reserve Bank has made. One, I think all of us, I think the youngsters, blockchain DLT is I think, always spring to the mind and all that. Today, given our country size of 1 billion people, we are not Sweden. So they want to achieve billion scale. So scalability is one of the considerations for technology choice. So Reserve Bank has not fixated on what kind of technology, nor by a client server technology. I'm not a techie. Beyond that, don't ask me any questions. So, but that has limitations so far as scalability is concerned. So if you have this DLT kind of technology, so far the speed, the rate of transactions, which is called TPS, transactions per second. Today UPS operates 15,000 transactions a second, not minute, 15,000. Visa operates 75,000 transactions per second. So if you want CBDC at a global scale, you need at least 200,000 transactions per second. 200,000 transactions per second. So that is the kind of technology choices that RBI has to make. But in a pilot phase, they said they would probably run and see what is the experience and then take a call. Even though a lot of blockchain and DLT, DeFi kind of ardents and all that are jumping to it. But for RBI, technology choice is not that. Functional design is far more important than the technology choice. Technology is always given, right? You can buy and procure. But it's not easy to do that. And there are two models again, custodian model and then user held model. So TSP would be responsible, whoever is got an intermediary and all that, he would be responsible for managing the keys, right? You need some software keys. If it is a user-led model, the keys will be with the user himself. If you think that he can manage the keys himself, he will rely on his mobile phone. So as you have a key for your wallet and all, you also have this. That's another technology choices. Most important challenging in this country is offline facility. Because there are 600, 700 million people who are not connected to the internet. So you cannot make it again elite function. Today UPI with all this success, do you know how many users are there, unique users on UPI? We are 1.4 billion population, right? How much? Any other number you can guess? So it's closer to it, that's something like 300 million people. But what's your population? So what do you do with the rest of the people? Use market. So that's where the tech guys need to come with these innovative solutions, offline. So even if there is no internet, right? Even if you don't have 4G, 5G, can I transfer just from my phone to your phone, from my card to your card, from my watch to your watch? Offline is a challenge in India. Even in UPI, why it is restricted to only 300 million, offline facility is not working. It's not feasible technically so far. In fact, we were discussing that if we can crack this offline, either to technology, either to hardware or software, I think you can be unicorn in 2 months' time. Unicorn, is it a good name? I see a lot of smiles when I say unicorn. When I said problems and people are not laughing. So I'm giving you one unicorn opportunity without any charge, no consultation fees for me. Now, I'm not joking. Where do we get the $1 billion market? If only we crack the offline. So if you find out innovative solution, supposing if I touch my phone to your touch phone, if money can be transferred, you can have $1 billion people market. Nobody will have. So even though that offline functionality they said they will give, but it's a challenge technologically. We don't have a solution so far. Then of course, they also want to have the double spend problem everywhere. And then probably DLT or non-DLT, probably a call would be taken after some pilot, maybe after a year or so. Because these kind of solutions for a country of our size, in China they can do it because everything goes by diktat, right? They have only one single solution that works, but in India it doesn't work that way. So one is that tech stack is not frozen. If you can come out with the tech stack, which is scalable, right? Which has the speed, maybe 100,000, 200,000 of transactions there, which is secure, which is resilient nowadays, that's one word, right? Which is cost effective. If you can come out with a tech stack, I can assure you it is not covered under, you have got India stack, right? It's not covered under that. If you guys can come with this, I think a huge opportunity for all of you. Then another tech choice that they've taken is what? If they do that, why will you get the unicorn? You want to earn your dollars, you innovate, right? If there is no solution, that much I can assure you. I'm not giving you any inside information. I'm not connected with the NPCI any longer, so I'm not giving you any inside, but I'm telling you public information. Right, I am giving for a unicorn. That's my purpose. That's what Professor Giorgio asked me to do that. Then it's a tied architecture, another tech feature, in the sense RBI Reserve Bank doesn't want to give the tokens directly to public. 1 billion people they cannot do, not possible. They will do through intermediaries, which comes financial services providers. Today, who is carrying the UPI traffic to banks? Who is carrying the traffic to banks? NPCI doesn't carry. It will only help a handshake. If you are supposing making a payment from your account, fintech, like PhonePe, BharatPe, WhatsApp, Paytm, they are all basically carrying the information, right? So if you have the tied architecture, that means it will come to the banks like they physically distribute cash, then goes to ATM or whatever it is. So here is another opportunity in a tied architecture which a Reserve Bank has decided for a lot of opportunity for financial service providers. Am I clear? So this is called the indirect model. So one big feature of USP of CBDC is called programmability. Programmability. Today you got programmability of payments, right? You can give a standing instruction to a bank, every month you pay. That is a programmability of payments. But there is no programmability of currency. Supposing if I have currency in my pocket, there is no programmability, right? I have to take action and then pay it. But CBDC, they are planning a programmability. First use case is welfare payments. Whenever there is a crisis, right, like you have like COVID and all, supposing the government says that, okay, we will give you 10,000 rupees to every citizen, but it should be spent only for medical, right? Not for going to movies or not buying your nice dress or whatever, right? Watch. So how do you ensure? Today what is happening is DBT they are giving, right? But the government does not know, is it spent for this purpose they have given? And all of us are grumbling, it's all misused, why should it be given? Am I right? How many of you think DBT is really used for purpose? Can you raise your hands? DBT is used for the purpose for which government is giving? No answer, right? So today while government is happy that leakages between the government and the citizen is plugged, but actual purpose and the spend is not matched. Today, CBDC they can give on the currency, it may have a separate code or a separate color and say that, okay, it has to be for medical, that coin code will apply only to medical. It will not work in a wine shop. If it is given for, say, rice or buy the provisions, it will only work for that. You cannot draw cash. Today what is happening, DBT is credited to bank, he draws the money, government has no control. So now programmability is one of the biggest value propositions which UPI also cannot do it. Another one. How many billions already you have now? 1.3 billion. No, how many billions? You told me 2-3 billions earlier also. Right, okay. So give me your card then so that I'll collect my fees later on, right? Second thing is parental control, I told you. Today most of these parents, they send remit money, right? Even through UPI. After that, parent has no control. In the sense not that, basically parents are worried, right? Is the money, it's not about spending the money, but what is the habit you are acquiring by spending that money? That's what the parents are worried, right? When once he gives you 5,000, 10,000, they are not worried about. They want to invest in education, right? Like you have seen one of the Telugu movies, that one Sarkar Varipata, she takes $10,000, I have to pay school fees and all that. She goes and gambles. Lost the money. Then again she calls the father. No, you did not send me money in time that, now college is asking me to pay penalty. How much is the penalty? Penalty is $25,000. Poor fellow, he sends it again. So if we CBDC, they will say it can work only in the college, nowhere else. But I am sure that I am finding very, very sorrow faces when I say that the parental control, right? 5 minutes, okay, fine. So programmability is one of the big ones. And as I said to you, I've given a lot of bins. I'll just show you. I'm trying to demystify CBDC. What exactly is the CBDC? It looks very simple. It is simple only. Third one. Okay. But does it happen here? They want animated slide, no? Right. So I'll tell you the steps. It comes easy because you find opportunities in the corners, right? Not for me, because ideas you have to generate. The first one in the RBI, no prints cash, right? Same way it mints digital currency. First step is same. Then after printing currency, where does it go? It goes to RBI Mint, RBI Vault. From RBI Vault, where does it go? It goes to banks, service providers. For banks, where does it go? It goes to merchants through bank. One. The other one is, it banks, people draw money, right? So all these guys. So each one can do. CBDC also exactly the same. Is it simple? The picture is simple. Where is the opportunity for you? It is between financial service providers and merchant. In India, you already have 6 unicorns in UPI because of this just interface, this interface. For 300 million people. If it is 1.4 billion, how many unicorns can be there? Right? So when I say unicorn, a lot of smiles. When I say parental control, nobody is laughing, smiling. Right? So this is basically, unlike UPI, which you do only through mobile, you have several channels. You can be on mobile, you can be on wearable, you can be an ATM card, you can be any kind of IoT device. It can be online or offline. In UPI, right now it's online because I told you technology choices. If you can find a solution for offline, even for UPI, I can tell you can be a unicorn. Because several people tried, but they're not able to crack it. So you need to crack it. Today, in fact, the UPI is runaway success because it is interoperable. Nowhere in the world is interoperability is there. Even China is a bigger market. But you've got Alipay and the 10 cents, they don't talk to each other. You go to US market, you have got Stripe, you have got PayPal, you have got 4, 5. But in India, UPI is success not because of technology. It is because of policy, regulatory policy. One, it should be interoperable. Number 2, it should be public good. It should be available to all, whether they charge or not charge. So these two, interoperability is going to be there between CBDC and UPI, CBDC and the existing system. And all that, BIS has given 3 broad guidelines because, as I told you, problems vary from country to country, solutions vary from country to country, but Bank for International Settlement is called central bank. It has given only 3 kind of, ground rules. Number 2, first one, it said it should not cause any harm to the existing financial system. Don't disturb the existing financial system because they are not clear how it's going to work. No harm to the existing systems. Number 2, it should coexist with all the existing systems. Don't think UPI will disappear when CBDC comes. No. All your NEFT, RTGS, UPI, all would coexist, including cash, not that entire thing. So CBDC is somewhere copying the physical currency, not the bank deposits. Right? Third most important thing is, they said there should be competition. That's where the chance for private sector comes. There should be scope for competition in distribution, methods of distributing it. You cannot mint like cryptocurrency, right? UPI, they can use UPI also, no? But UPI, why they are not successful, payment banks? Pardon? They can monetize. Even today, PhonePe, there is no, BharatPe, there is no. Paytm, there is no charge for everybody, but still they are making money. So, Right. So you have got opportunities between the financial service providers and the individuals, between the individuals, and in interface between the merchant and the FSP, right? So these are the opportunities that you have. Right. So RBI has given the roadmap. They've already said it is going to be both wholesale and retail, right? And it's going to be token based, and there will not be any interest rate on the CBDC, because it is equal to currency. In currency, would RBI give you any interest rate? But there are some countries who won't offer interest rate, right? For a different reason, basically. And then it should be account based as well as your token based. I've told you the difference between these two. Am I clear? And then ultimately anonymity, they are promising to the extent possible, at least small transactions, they would not do that. So I would end this. Thank you very much for the opportunity of this.